Welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to move one step further and going to introduce you to the concept of components. Components are the building blocks in React.js applications. Let's go ahead and see why do we need components. So right now, whenever we want to display hello world, we have to copy this part of it, which is a div hello world. It would be nice if we can showcase that if we can create components, reusable components that can be used without providing to copy paste the code. And components are also able to pass in and properties and talk to other components, so which we are going to learn later in the section. So let's go ahead and create a component called hello world. The component will be responsible for displaying hello world on the screen, just like we did in the last lecture. Let's go ahead and create component. Var hello world react.create class. This will create a component. And now inside the component, we can create a render method. So what do you want to render? Like, what does the component look like? All right, so we want to render something. Whatever we want to render, we have to return it. So let's go ahead and do that. And we want to render, let's say, a div and another div, and I can say hello world over here. All right. Now, if I want to use this particular component and render it on my screen, instead of using the div hello world, I'm simply going to use my component. And every time I'm going to use this component, it will print hello world to the screen. Pretty simple, right? So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to use hello world, and there we go. Let's go ahead and refresh the page. And of course, you see that the result is exactly the same. Nothing really has changed. What about if I want to print hello world multiple times? Well, how about if I say hello world? And let's go ahead and refresh that. And we see that there's an error when you do multiple times like this. So this is one of the things in React.js that you will have to be careful about. When inside the render, you cannot have multiple items just like this. The way to do it is to enclose those multiple items, if you want to render multiple items, into one parent div. So it's not much of a hassle. All you need to do is to surround it with one div or anything that you are trying to return. So in the end, you are actually returning one particular element which has some childs in it. In this case, our childs are hello world component, which in turn is going to display hello world on the screen. Let's go ahead and refresh this now, and we displayed hello world 2 times. So now you can see the power of the components. Every time you want to use hello world, instead of div hello world, you can simply utilize the components. Components make up what React is all about. Different components can talk to each other. Different components can refresh based on different properties, which we are going to look at in the next lecture. So I hope you like this lecture about components, and stay tuned for some amazing lectures. Thank you very much.